Thank you so very much for your time today. Today's module, we're going to look at both of the sprinkler modules available to you within the Diageo environment, when you should use one or both of them. We'll then move towards how to leverage the Explorer module with some simple Boolean queries to get you started. And then we'll finish up with where to get additional help and then access to additional recordings of deep dives into the sprinkler listening module specifically. So to begin, let's highlight both modules available to you within the Diageo environment. So to start, you've got both Sprinkler Listening Explorer as well as Sprinkler Listening Insights. So to begin with Sprinkler Listening Explorer, this is primarily leveraged for ad hoc research. So to understand the conversation that's happening recently, maybe happened a year ago, you're going to understand that you've got the ability to leverage keyword-based searches, so looking for maybe brand mentions or mentions of a particular conversation or topic type, maybe a category or a competitor. You can do this with a combination of keywords to pull up the conversation that's important to you. And you'll be able to access 5+ years of historical data to do your analysis. So again, you'll have access to both social and then web sources like blogs, forums, news sites, things like that. But leveraging your keyword-based queries, you'll be able to do this ad hoc research looking back in the time period that's relevant for you. You'll see that you're going to have out-of-the-box dashboards available for you that are going to let you dive both into the content specifically, as well as to the sentiment of the conversation around different geographies, and other data points as well. This is going to absolutely give you the opportunity to explore trends over time for specific conversations that are important to you. And you'll be able to drill down across multiple levels, even down to verbatims, if that's required and that's an approved use case for your business unit. Now, switching over towards Sprinkler Listening Insights, we want to understand why it's different and where you would use this. So the first thing to understand is that Sprinkler Listening Insights is always on listening. Consider this active. So maybe you're wanting to listen for mentions of your brand or a particular campaign, and you want this running 24/7 from now, for a specified time period. This now can be first keyword based. We could also listen for appearances of the logo, whether or not the brand was mentioned at all. We can restrict this listening down to specific geographies, and we can even listen to specific accounts or profiles where the social media network in this example would support that capability. In addition to that, you'll have a few other sources, so beyond social and web, you'll have the digital sources available, but also some traditional sources like TV, radio, and print transcripts where those are available, as well as also some region-specific forums and other digital platforms. And again, you'll have out-of-the-box dashboards available here, similar to how you would for Listening Explorer. But the big difference is that you also have the ability to create your own custom dashboards that you can manipulate and save off and share out across your business unit to leadership and to various other stakeholders as well. And similarly to Listening Explorer, these dashboards will also give you the similar ability to drill down at multiple levels and again, down to the verbatims for an approved use case. So that's the two modules available to you. Consider Listening Explorer again for ad hoc research, Listening Insights for that 24/7, always on listening requirement and use case. And now we're going to transition into how to navigate to Listening Explorer and leverage some of the kind of standard use cases for that particular product. Again, we'll finish off this session with where to get details for additional videos and trainings for Listening Insights, where you'll see various curricula there and different recordings for all the different feature set available in that specific product. Now to start with Listening Explorer, we're going to go ahead and navigate into the Sprinkler environment, Diageo, and you'll log in. And when you start your new page, you want to navigate to the Modern Research component of the Sprinkler platform. And then over here in Listen, you'll see Quick Search. So again, this will work similar to kind of the search engine experience that you're used to on the web. But again, as we mentioned, this is going to allow you to explore the conversation around both social media and other web and digital platforms. So as an example, I would just go in here and enter in a brand, hit enter. And then this is going to pull up all of the mentions available for that particular keyword search. In this example, for the last 24 hours. So one of the first things you'll notice is that you've got the ability to adjust this time frame. So if I want to understand, kind of in the last 60 days what the conversation would be, or the last year, whatever that might be, your time range perspective, this is what will allow you to do that historical trend analysis. So we'll just pick for the last 60 days, and you'll see that in real time, the dashboard will update with all of the mentions of this particular brand. So if I scroll through here, and we'll go through here in just a bit, we'll get a view into all of the various mentions of Tanqueray. Now, one of the things that we'll want to leverage here is the use of Boolean search queries and search terms for the keywords that we're looking for here in Listening Explorer. So let's say in this example, I want to look for mentions of Tanqueray and Johnny Walker, or maybe Captain Morgan, or any of the other brands. What I would want to leverage here is the or keyword. So if I hit a space after the first brand, which was just one word, hit all capitals or, and now because I'm going to be looking for two words together, I'm going to leverage the quotations. So then I'll go ahead and enter in the brand, and then another quotation, hit enter, and now I've searched for both mentions of Tanqueray and Johnny Walker. Now again, as I mentioned, I want to potentially add a third brand, so if I want to add Captain Morgan, again, I'll use the quotation marks since I'm looking for two words that are going to appear together. Close that quotation mark, and now, using these keywords, I'm looking for any mentions of Tanqueray or Johnny Walker or Captain Morgan. So now I've got the full set of data for all mentions of those three brands, as well as then some various widgets that you're going to see here. So again, finally, one of the things we want to do is leverage maybe some additional combinations of these keywords. So I want to look for any of these brand mentions, but then I also want to look for those mentions in relation to the current COVID situation. So in this scenario, I'll put parentheses around all three of those brand keywords because I want to continue to look for any of the mentions of those three brands. But I want to also make sure that a mention of COVID appears as well. So if after that, I just type all capital and then the keyword COVID, what we'll see now is when I hit enter, I'll just scroll up here so you can see the results. We're going to now look for any mentions of those three brands and COVID related as well. So now I've done my particular, research and ad hoc assignment here, looking for mentions of our brand in relation to the current crisis. And now we've got the ability to drill into the conversation. So I can leverage any of these widgets. So this gives me kind of the word cloud, the themes and the cluster of this conversation. Again, here where the social channels where the mentions are the highest, which domains are getting mentions, as well as what time of day are people most active. So as we've mentioned before, this gives me a view that I can now drill into. So in this example, if I want to go into the Twitter conversation and I want to understand by sentiment where these mentions are, I can click once. It will bring up the drill data menu option. If I type the word sentiment to search for that particular field, it will then bring up an ad hoc widget and dashboard that allows me to see this conversation as well. So if I wanted to drill into this conversation further, I could continue to do this by different dimensions, or again, even down to verbatims when approved. So as we had mentioned before, this is the out-of-the-box dashboard that allows you to view both content as well as sentiment and demographics. Right. So here in this example, we're just getting a feel for what are the hashtags most often in use, what are the content types, what are the top themes and terms of the discussion. If I want to understand the sentiment of the conversation, this out-of-the-box dashboard will break that down for me across both hashtags. You can see geographies here, and then you can get a feel for the language used for both positive as well as negative mentions for this particular search string that I have entered. And finally, we'll end with demographics, which again will just highlight the various locations where the conversation appears, which would be, as expected here, and then down to gender and countries if and where that's available from the social networks. So again, by using a simple Boolean query, to capture maybe multiple brands and additional keywords to gather the conversation that's important to you, you're able to leverage the Sprinkler Listening Explorer product to perform that ad hoc research. So where do we go for more help? Here you'll see the help card with all of the different sources of information of how to reach out for the help that you need. So if you've got new user onboarding and training requests, you can reach out to the Sprinkler admin team at Diageo. You can also submit the Sprinkler help form. So by clicking on the link in this training card, it will take you out to a specific form where you can request help with either listening dashboards or other pieces of content or platform functionality that is required. And again, you can leverage all of the additional details here to reach out for the help that you need. So if you need to sign up for a paid clinic or maybe owned and earned listening dashboard trainings, all of that's available to you as well as then additional resources and links and then escalation points if and when needed. Thank you so much for your time today.